Tell me if this sounds like you. You're waiting for a text that doesn't come, and before your mind even has a chance to think, you feel it in your body. Your chest tightens, your stomach drops, and suddenly a story appears. He's losing interest, not because it's true, but because your body learned you're a long time ago to brace when connection feels uncertain. Or maybe it looks like this. When someone goes quiet, you don't just think something is wrong, you feel it. Your nervous system shifts, you start doing more, reaching more, explaining more, not because you want to chase, but because a part of you is desperately trying to restore safety. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to shift from feeling stuck and uncertain in love to becoming deeply self trusting so your relationship starts to feel secure, calm, and aligned. If you're tired of repeating the same painful cycles, if you want a healthy long term relationship, but keep finding yourself stuck in anxiety, overthinking, or emotional exhaustion, let me guess, you feel like you've heard all of this before. You've read the books, you've done the therapy, you know your attachment style, and yet your body still reacts. Your relationships still trigger you, and you're left wondering why nothing actually changes in real time. You've been told that the problem is communication, mindset, choosing better partners. But here's the truth most women are never told. You've been taught the wrong solution. Most women believe if I just understand myself better, I'll change. But insight alone cannot override a nervous system that doesn't feel safe. That's why women I work with don't heal by finding the right words. They heal because their bodies finally learn safety again. The shift happens through one overlooked mechanism: nervous system led attachment healing. My name is Alina, and before I helped women feel safe and secure in love, I was exactly where you are: highly functional, emotionally intelligent, self aware, and quietly exhausted in my relationship. From the outside, everything looked strong. Inside, I was overthinking everything. I didn't trust myself. I couldn't stay calm when connection felt uncertain. If his tone shifted, my body reacted. If a text went unanswered, my mind spiraled. I told myself I was too sensitive, but the truth, I was living in hypervigilance. I wasn't asking for perfection. I just wanted to feel steady, to wake up without anxiety sitting heavy in my chest, to stop scanning for signs that something was wrong, and to stop feeling like love required constant effort and emotional labor. I had been unhappy for years. I didn't feel cherished. I had swallowed resentment for so long it had hardened inside of me. But I stayed and I overgave and I tried harder until the day my husband told me he was done. I can still feel that moment. My chest tightened, my ears rang. It felt like the floor dropped out of from under me. Even though I had been unhappy and even though I knew we weren't thriving, none of that mattered. All I felt was panic. My body went straight to survival. I couldn't eat, I couldn't think clearly, and I couldn't regulate my breathing. And I did what I had always done when love felt like it was leaving. I begged. I begged him to stay, even though I felt ashamed, even though I felt small, and even though a quiet voice inside me knew I was betraying myself. I abandoned myself to avoid being abandoned. That was the real pattern. Not choosing the wrong men, not being unlucky in love. abandoning myself the second connection felt uncertain. Because love at that time felt like survival, and connection felt like oxygen. Losing it felt like I wouldn't make it. So I overrode my truth. I swallowed my dignity. I promised I'd fix it. I would be better. I would try harder. And every time I did that, my self worth eroded a little more. The breaking point wasn't him saying he was done, it was realizing I had been done with myself for years, done trusting myself, done honoring my body, and done feeling safe internally. That's when everything shifted. It didn't happen overnight, but when I stopped trying to control the relationship and started working with my nervous system instead, I learned how to sit in the ache without chasing, how to breathe through uncertainty without reaching for reassurance, and how to let someone pull away without collapsing into fear. I learned that safety isn't something someone gives you, it's something you build inside your own body. And when I built that, I stopped begging, I stopped performing, and I stopped overgiving. And for the first time in my life, love stopped feeling like survival. It started feeling steady. That moment, it cracked something open. I saw clearly I had two choices. I could keep chasing safety through him, or I could learn how to create it within myself. I could keep managing the relationship or start managing my nervous system. Instead of asking, how do I get him to stay? I asked, how do I stay with myself when things feel unstable? And that question changed everything for me. Because after years of learning and applying this work to myself, I realized there's one skill almost no one is teaching: how to create internal safety, not through logic, but through the nervous system. Attachment patterns aren't cognitive problems, they're physiological ones. And for the first time, we can heal them at the level where they actually live. I call this work the self trust method. It's a simple body based process that helps women stop spiraling, stop chasing reassurance, and start choosing relationships from calm and clarity. When my client Annika came to me, she was exhausted. On the outside, she looked like she had it together, but inside, she was constantly second guessing herself. Every relationship felt confusing. Every interaction turned into overthinking. She kept asking herself, is it me? Is it them? Am I too much? She believed her relationship struggles were about the other person. But what we uncovered gently and slowly was something much, much deeper. She didn't trust herself. Her nervous system was stuck in survival. She always scanning, always bracing, always trying to stay safe by staying small, agreeable, or hyper vigilant. Together, we didn't just talk about her patterns, we worked with her body. We slowed things down enough for her to feel safety, not just understand it intellectually. And that's when everything began to shift. She told me, I don't abandon myself anymore. For the first time, she could feel when something wasn't aligned, and instead of overriding herself, she listened. The overthinking softened, the constant anxiety loosened its grip. She said, I used to question everything. Now I trust myself, and it shows in every part of my life. Her relationships changed because she changed, not by becoming harder or more guarded, but by becoming more anchored inside of herself. She wasn't reacting from old wounds anymore. She was responding from clarity. And here's the part that matters most. This work didn't just change how she showed up in love, it changed how she lived. She told me she no longer felt like she was just surviving her life. She felt grounded, present, and safe in her body. And when anxiety showed up, because it still does sometimes, she didn't spiral, she recognized it. What I have seen again and again is that healing is not linear. Sometimes it's two steps forward and one step back. And that's not only okay, but it's part of the process. That's why having someone to walk alongside you, to hold your hand through the ups and downs, is so, so important. In phase one, we will identify the repeated relationship patterns, and we begin to see how these patterns are rooted in past emotional wounds, as well as early attachment experiences. We learn how to name the feelings and beliefs driving these behaviors. In phase two, we learn how to recognize signs of dysregulation, and instead of reacting from that state, we learn to regulate and then respond. And we begin to feel safe being present with the body and emotions. And in phase three, you start making decisions from your truth, not from fear, panic, or people pleasing. That change didn't happen for me overnight. After my husband said he was done, after I begged, after my body went into full survival, I realized something had to change at the root. So I stopped trying to fix the relationship and I started healing myself. I invested deeply in my growth, time, energy, money, because I was done living in survival mode. And slowly, I learned how to sit in discomfort without abandoning myself and how to honor my needs instead of overriding them, how to speak without bracing for rejection. Self compassion slowly replaced self criticism, and regulation replaced reactivity, and truth replaced performance. I stopped negotiating my boundaries to keep connection, and I stopped betraying myself to avoid conflict. And the more I stayed with myself, the more I trusted my inner voice. That's the work I guide women through now. And you don't have to spend years figuring this out alone. I already walked the path. Now I help you walk it faster and with support. And if you're thinking, but I don't know how to do this on my own, that's exactly the point. You don't have to. You don't need more theory. You don't need to piece this together by yourself. I've already built the structure, the guidance, and support so you can walk through this step by step. And imagine how different your life would feel if you didn't have to manage anxiety every single day or rebuild yourself after every emotional trigger. You could try to do this alone, or you could do this work side by side with me. And to help you decide if this work is right for you, I'd like to offer you a free 45-minute clarity call. There's no pressure, there's no obligation. We'll gently talk through your patterns, what's actually keeping them in place, and whether this approach fits you. Click below to book your call if you're ready to stop managing anxiety and start feeling safe inside of yourself. And I'll see you on the other side. This is for you if you're successful, you're capable, you're self aware, but relationships still leave you feeling anxious, uncertain, or emotionally drained. You find yourself waiting on texts, tone shifts, or reassurance, and your body reacts before your mind can calm it. You keep wondering, is this really the best my relationship can be? What will my life look like in 5 years if nothing changes? And you've done the inner work, you've done therapy, you've read books, you've reflected, but your patterns haven't actually shifted in real time. You often give more, explain more, or try harder when connection feels unstable, even when you know that's not who you want to be. You want lasting change, not temporary breakthroughs that fade after the next conflict. If you're ready to stop fixing, chasing, or proving, and instead learn how to feel safe inside of yourself, no matter what someone else is doing, and this is not for you if you're looking for quick fixes, scripts, or communication tricks to control someone else's behavior. You want to stay focused on who's wrong, rather, how your body is responding. And if you're not willing to take responsibility for your internal experience, even when external circumstances don't change, you believe healing should be purely mental and aren't open to working with the nervous system and the body. And you want reassurance without building self trust or change without sitting with discomfort. You're not ready to slow down, feel, and choose differently, even if it means outgrowing familiar dynamics. Well, before we go any further, I want to slow this down for just a moment. Because if you're still here, something in you already knows this matters. And usually, when we're standing at the edge of change, it's not confusion that stops us, it's the quiet questions we don't always say out loud. So, let's talk about real things that come up honestly, compassionately, and without pressure. Am I worthy of this investment? I get it. I have been there and I have said the same thing. I remember staring at the screen, heart racing, and thinking, what if this is irresponsible? What if I fail? Investing in transformation scared the hell out of me. But that decision became the moment everything shifted because it forced me to stop circling the problem and start changing my life. That investment didn't magically make things easy, it made me take action. It made me face patterns I'd been avoiding, and it catapulted me into becoming the woman who actually creates change. Sometimes I don't have the money is really I'm afraid who I'll have to become if I say yes. And you don't need to be fearless, you just need to be willing. The timing will never be perfect. There will always be another vacation, another expense, another life event. I know because when I invested, I was going through a divorce, raising three kids, and starting a business. The timing looked terrible on paper, but the truth is, I had to face nothing changes if nothing changes. And I asked myself, what if I could feel secure and anxiety free in my relationship? Even with myself, what doors would open if I wasn't constantly managing fear? I believe in therapy. I've done it for years. It helped me understand my patterns, but at some point, it kept me looping in them. Therapy helped me gain awareness, but coaching helped me create momentum. And momentum is what changes your life. If that sounds like something you want, I'm opening access to my Self Trust Method program where I teach you step by step how to feel safe in love from the inside out. Right now, you can book a free 45-minute clarity call with me or my team. There's no pressure or obligation. We'll talk through your patterns, what's actually keeping them in place, and whether this approach fits you. Click the button below to claim your spot. Once you click, you'll choose a time that works for you. Spots are limited, and once they're filled, they're gone. If you're ready to stop managing anxiety and start feeling safe inside yourself, go ahead and click below, and I'll see you on the other side. Thank you.